Hello, this is Pastor Phillip Kennedy at First Free Will Baptist Church, and I wanted to bring you a short devotional for our midweek service. We're going to be in John chapter 21. This is the last chapter of the Gospel of John, and we'll start in verse 20. It says, "Then Peter, turning about, seeth the disciple whom Jesus loved following, which also leaned on his breast at supper, and said, Lord, which is he that betrayeth thee? Peter, seeing him, saith to Jesus, Lord, and what shall this man do? Jesus saith unto him, If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto him, He shall not die, but if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee?" Here at the end of the Gospel of John, we see Jesus giving Peter some final instructions. And those final instructions actually aren't even in the verses that we read, but it's one verse up, verse 19 of John chapter 21, and it's just the last two words. He simply tells Peter, "Follow me." He does again tell Peter to follow him in the verses that we read, but Jesus said to Peter, "Follow me." This was Jesus' simple message to Peter. And it's the same message that he had all along. It's the same message that he called Peter to be his disciple with. He said, "Come follow me," if you remember that. He said, "Come follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men." But his message was, "Follow me." In reality, this is the same message for every single one of us from Jesus. Jesus calls us to follow him. He says, "Come, follow me." Are you following Jesus? Are you following him? I hope so. But look at the verses that we just read. This is what I want to share with you today. In these verses, it shows Peter gets sidetracked or distracted. In verse 20, it says, Peter, turning and seeing the disciple whom Jesus loved following, and gives a description about who that disciple is. And if you study, you'll know that this is the disciple John, the author of this gospel. He sees John, and he says to Jesus, in verse 21, Peter, seeing him, saith to Jesus, Lord, and what shall this man do? Peter gets distracted. Jesus had just told Peter, "Follow me." And Peter, looking around, gets distracted and says, "What about him? What's going to happen to him?" Like Peter, too often we get distracted by others. You know, I love church, and I love gathering together with other believers, and I look forward to the day that we're able to do that again. And we're to encourage each other and build each other up. But sometimes we get distracted by each other, by the other believers in our church, by the other people in our lives, just by people around us. We get distracted. And we say, well, what about them? You know, God calls us, Jesus calls us to follow him. And in following him, he calls us to obedience. That includes telling people about him. That includes serving in the church. That includes giving. It includes everything that we do in our life that's in obedience to him. All of our life is supposed to be in obedience to him. And sometimes after a while, we get distracted. We say, Lord, I know you want me to serve in this capacity, whatever it might be. I know you want me to follow you. I know that you've called me to do this. But Lord, what do you want my brother here to do? What do you want my sister here to do? God, I've been serving you. God, I've been teaching. I've been sharing the gospel. I've been faithfully giving. But Lord, it seems like these other people aren't doing as much as I'm doing. We get distracted. We're not to focus on each other. We're not to focus on what our brother or our sister are doing. We're to focus our lives and our obedience on Jesus Christ. Sometimes we get distracted from following Jesus, worrying about what this person is doing and what this person is doing. God, I'm getting tired. I've been faithfully serving you, and it seems like I'm doing it by myself without any help. Follow me, is what Jesus said. But look at Jesus' response. I know that's a little bit off from what this passage is saying, but look at Jesus' response. He says in verses 22 and also in, we'll read 23, Jesus saith unto him, If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren that disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto him, He shall not die. But if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? What is that to you? What does it matter what that person is going to do? You follow me. You know, I remember whenever I was growing up, and my mom would ask me to do something. She would say, Philip, I want you to take the trash out. Or Philip, I would like you to clean up the living room. And I would immediately get defensive. I have a brother and a sister. And I would say, well, what do you want Jason, my brother, to do? Or what do you want Sarah, my sister, to do? You want me to take out the trash? What about them? And my mom always had the same response. It doesn't matter what they're going to do. You do what I told you to do. It was about obedience. I was distracted and I wanted to know what she was going to make them do, and I wasn't doing what she had asked me to do. She wanted me to follow what she said. Essentially, Jesus is saying the same thing. He said it doesn't matter what John is going to do. You follow me. He said, you follow me. We need to not be distracted from following Jesus by anybody else in our lives. We need to faithfully obey, faithfully serve, and we need to strive not to get discouraged, but encourage ourselves in the Lord through His Word and keep our focus. And our focus is and should be following Jesus. Even if I have to do it alone, Jesus, I want to follow you. Even if it seems like others aren't doing so, Jesus, I want to follow you. I hope that our desire is to follow Jesus. Don't get distracted by others. Follow Him. May God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Feel free to share this with others.